Coming to you from the NBC Tower in downtown Chicago, once again at a special time. Where are they? Where's Robert? Don't worry, it's still WrestleZone Daily. It's still the most interactive pro wrestling show. One of the biggest stars in all of wrestling and maybe Hollywood is getting back into the groove for WrestleMania. NXT TakeOver Portland is this Sunday, and your questions are getting answered live on screen, baby. Share the link or you stink. Can you see me right now?
I see you.
We're going to get into all of that. It is so much fun. I'm back with one of my buddies in comedy I've known for many, many, many years. You've seen him on NBC. You've seen him on Chicago Fire. I'm talking about my buddy, comedian extraordinaire, Mr. Brian Christopher, the Big BC. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, what's going on? Pretty good. Can't complain. Life is good.
It's pretty good, dude. It's WrestleMania season, dude. We're
exciting times.
Yeah, we're just under 2 months away from WrestleMania, and I'm pretty excited about it. This is turning out to be a fun time of year. I think finally the Mania hype is getting there, and I'll talk on why. And there's a couple good matches getting together, and there's some stuff I'm not super excited about. But even some fans get mad about these Saudi Arabia shows. They're trying to do something interesting with it. We'll talk about WWE. We'll talk about some AEW stuff and how WWE is responding to that. So a lot to get into today. If you're with us live, a lot to cover. Let's get into our main story. If you're just joining us, confirmation late last night that one of the biggest stars in wrestling is coming back to WWE just in time for WrestleMania season. John Cena, been busy with a lot of different movie projects, is confirmed to appear on the February 28th episode of WWE SmackDown. This will put him, I believe, right after or before the Super Showdown show. I believe it would be the day after that.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk that he doesn't want to be a part of those shows, though he's been a part of one or two of them. He is in that rarefied air like The Rock, where he kind of comes into WWE when he wants to be. But he's always been very public about saying, I want to be a part of WWE as much as I can with my movie career, and had said that he wanted to be a part of WrestleMania, particularly this year and every year that he could be. He lives in Tampa. And now I don't know what living in Tampa means when you're flying around the world making movies all the time. But Brian, you've worked in the movie business.
Yes.
How hard of a career do you think John Cena has to live right now? And how much of him are we going to get going into WrestleMania? He's working on the Suicide Squad film. He has 2 other films in pre-production. I mean, he's still on in movie mode. How are we going to get him for Mania?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out. Plus, he's going around probably doing junkets for the Fast and Furious movie, which is huge.
That comes out like right around the time of WrestleMania.
Right. So, I mean, I'm wondering how they're going to work him into a program. I saw somebody, Spencer said something in the chat about getting a Cena-Braun feud for the IC title. And it's like, I mean, that would be fun. It'd be lovely to see Braun in something big with the IC title. But I don't know if they have time to work him into a program like that. So I just don't see... with his crazy schedule, I mean, look what happened with The Rock. I mean, yeah, he only came around when it was convenient for him.
It's when you can do it.
When can he? Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll show up for Mania because it's in his home state, but I don't necessarily see him doing more than a cameo.
Oh, so you don't think we even really get a match with him?
We might get like one of those. Maybe he shows up in the ring and he's making some like sort of announcement or like cutting a spot, and then maybe someone runs down and he throws an AA at him or some shit, and that's gonna be it.
You think light work for him?
Mm-hmm.
Other people saying he needs a heel turn. I don't expect a heel turn right before a movie.
They don't have enough time. They don't have enough time for that.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do a heel turn. You need fulfillment. Everyone wants that Cena heel turn. But John Cena at WrestleMania is still a big deal. He was not advertised last year, though he did appear in a segment with Elias and gave him an AA, and it was quite entertaining to see live. Mm-hmm. You can't deny his pull now. He is one of those guys that is in that short list of The Rock, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, where anyone who doesn't follow wrestling, they know the name John Cena.
Well, yeah,
He has that power.
he's got the Hollywood power. He's got that star power now. I mean, even though some of the movies he's made have been questionable, Playing with Fire.
Did you get to see it? I didn't get to see it.
I did see Playing with Fire, and I gave it a shot because I remember I was a fan of the Triple H movie, The Chaperone.
You enjoyed The Chaperone?
I actually liked The Chaperone.
Okay.
I thought that Triple H. I thought Trips was pretty good. Honestly, he was able to make that movie entertaining for what it was, which was basically like had that Home Alone kind of vibe to it.
Okay.
But Playing with Fire, no, I think he was playing with fire with that doing that movie, so to speak.
Let's be frank. He is. There is some smarter things. I think he has coming up. Suicide Squad.
Right. Yes.
People can say whether or not those movies are successful. That's a big franchise to be a part of.
Blockers was great. I loved him in the Blockers movie.
That got great reviews. He was good in Trainwreck. So he hasn't had like an awful record in film.
No, actually, you know what? I might be giving him a little bit of crap just because that was the last movie I saw of his. But generally speaking, you know, his movie career might not be as big as The Rock's yet. But he's on his way, and but I don't necessarily. I think he cares more about the WWE than The Rock does in terms of like keeping his presence there. So like he doesn't want to completely abandon the universe, and so I think we'll see more of him as he integrates into Hollywood more. I think we'll still see more of him in WWE.
People agree with you that the Blockers film was pretty hilarious. I know he did some butt humor in that film.
Yeah, butt chugging.
James Dola bring up Fast and the Furious 9. He is the villain in that film.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think we see him on WWE television to promote that film.
There's your heel turn right there. He's a bad guy in Fast 9. We'll see how that goes.
Your heel turn in a movie. You don't get in WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously you've already you've pitched a match or a segment or something like that. You think he's doing a cameo. Something makes me think he does a match. But it'd be
nice.
Something makes me think he does a match. I don't know how serious of a match it can be. I don't know how much physicality he could be allowed to do, and that's been a much debated thing with guys that have these big movie careers that do wrestling as well.
It's in the contracts; they can't get crazy.
Yeah, they can't get crazy, and it was a big issue with The Rock. I know he had an issue coming out of WrestleMania in 2013 to do the Hercules film. And he had a problem where he pulled his abductor muscle, had a very, very pretty serious injury coming out of that second match with John Cena, and it affected the production of the film to the point where he couldn't be chestless in the film. This is The Rock, and he can't take his shirt off in a movie. So there was a lot of people that were upset about that.
Yeah.
Particularly Ryan Singer was the director of the film. He was pretty public about it as well. I think if he can be physical and he can do something, he's John Cena. He's going to do it.
Yeah, I think he'll throw down like a spot at least. Like he'll definitely do a spot. Something where
you put him in a tag team match. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. You can protect him, and he can still be physical, and fans still get the ride of going to a big WrestleMania match with John Cena involved. I kind of see things going in that direction, but nothing for sure.
As long as he's not doing that punch as his finisher.
What was that?
What is with all these wrestlers? I get that you have to tone as you're getting older. You got to tone it down a little bit. You got him doing the punch, and then you got the Judas effect, which I think is better than the punch. But still, it's like can we come up with something a little better than the Big Show with the big right hand? It's just like, come on, man, this is generic. It's corny.
Sound off. If John Cena has a match at WrestleMania, who do you want him to be in the ring with? If you're watching us live or on demand on YouTube, on Facebook, if you're listening in the podcast, hit us up on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. If John Cena has a match at WrestleMania in this rarefied time, with the only now and then, who do you want him to have that match with? People mentioned Braun Strowman. I think that'd be a great match.
That would be great.
It would feel special. It would feel like a different thing. They've done it once or twice. I know I believe they had Braun beat him on television as kind of like a surprise thing. But WrestleMania is a whole different monster, and there's a whole different level of hype there and rarefied air that you could play on. I think John Cena in the ring with a variety of different people. If you want to do the tag team thing, who do you have him tag with? Like, there's a bunch of different things you can do with him. I think that would be interesting.
It would be fun to see him with Braun, but Braun's face right now, so it'd be interesting. I see why people say that they'd want him to be a heel, but
Mhm.
they've had face versus face matches at
Yeah.
WrestleMania before, and that's fine. I think if they were able to get a full match, I think that Strowman would be a good program to throw him into because it would boost Strowman, his position with the IC title. So
James texted in and said, King Baron Corbin. I mean, you can't find a more despised character in WWE right now. I mean, even on that appearance coming up on the 28th on SmackDown, if Baron Corbin gets in the ring with John Cena, I'm not going to be surprised, but I am going to be entertained. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Cena
Corbin
Bryan. I
Yeah.
see Cena Daniel Bryan down there. That'd be
Oh boy, I would love that. They did some monster matches together before a few years back. One of my favorite John Cena matches was him and Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. So I would enjoy that quite a bit. Other people would like to see him versus John Morrison. Don't see John Morrison in that position right now. Babs J is texting in. I see John Morrison in some type of tag team situation going into WrestleMania with The Miz, but that's the way things kind of shape out here. But if you got John Cena on the road to WrestleMania, that's not a bad deal. And of course,
I see something in there where Cena teams with Elias to take on Shinsuke, Cesaro, and Sammy. That would be interesting considering last WrestleMania he AA'd, he went up against Elias.
that would be odd.
So I think it'd be fun because it'd be kind of an interesting, is Elias gonna turn on him or something at some point?
People with a lot of different ones. I'd love to see him go up against Big Keith Lee from NXT. We'll be talking a little bit.
That'd be too physical. That'd be too physical, I think, for him with his movie contract.
Patrick Ryman wants to see the C Nation go up against Velveteen Dream, who's back in WWE.
Yeah, Velveteen Dream would be fantastic. I love him, but I don't see that as a match.
I don't either. John Cena's going to be in there with somebody big in a very specific type
Sting.
Everybody wants the Sting match, man.
Everybody wants Stinger back, but I don't see that happening.
Wait, we'll find out in a couple of weeks, especially if we don't find anything by Super Showdown. I think you can write the Man Cold Sting off WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. Speaking of this week and WrestleMania, we found out that WrestleMania will be in Los Angeles. I know you're in Chicago now, but you spent years in LA working in film and television.
Yep.
You do something in LA, it puts it in a special space. It's one of the biggest media markets in the world. It's the entertainment capital of the world. And now WWE is going to be back there for WrestleMania Hollywood in 2021 at the new SoFi Stadium. You have friends in LA. What is the vibe in LA with WrestleMania coming there next year?
There is definitely a big buzz in LA with wrestling. I know a lot of comedians when I was out there followed at the time even more than I did. And there's a big I think that they'll do well out there. That's a good epicenter for all things entertainment, and why not bring wrestling there? Especially the biggest show of the year, and they'll kill it. Also,
you bring up it's not just WWE. They're going to be there for a week, and they're going to play this huge stadium. You're going to have all those smaller market venues you can run. There's a lot of different venues you can run in LA. You have the Mayan Theater, you have the Globe Theater. Obviously, PWG is very, very prominent there and has been for a very long time. I expect that they'll have some type of huge event. So the wrestling world will come to LA, and LA is a city that can host that. But you know this from being in LA. Everyone's going to be driving around. Everything's going to be spread out all over the San Fernando Valley. There's no centralized.
There really isn't. No, I mean, even down if you're saying that something's in downtown Los Angeles, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, the driving is just going to be nuts. If there's all sorts of different events happening surrounding WrestleMania, you're going to have to go from one end of the city to the other. And people flying in to go to WrestleMania are going to be in for an awakening when they realize they can't just walk or take a quick bus somewhere. No. They're going to have to rent a car. And if they want to go to all those events, and prepare yourselves for that if you're going to go out to Mania Hollywood.
All right. It'll be something special. It'll be worth it. LA is a town to travel to. There's plenty.
But there's a lot of fun stuff because I think that there'll be a lot of celebrity cameos coming through. Because a lot of celebrities love Mania, and if you're in LA, you're going to see a ton of a lot of faces in the crowd. Probably that'd be good for them, which will up their ratings. You know.
NXT, AEW going head to head once again tonight. AEW building up to AEW Revolution, going to be in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena, sold out, coming up at the end of the month. But this Sunday, NXT TakeOver Portland has a stacked card, a really, really stacked card. NXT title match will be Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole. The NXT Women's Championship will be on the line with Bianca Belair challenging Rhea Ripley, who's also busy with Charlotte in a potential WrestleMania match that is yet to be confirmed. The Broserweights won the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tournament, and they'll take on the Undisputed Era of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish for the NXT Tag Team Championship and the NXT North American Championship. Well, once again, be those two big giant men that wrestle like cruiserweights, with Keith Lee defending against Dominic Dijakovic, a street fight between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, and Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano. This is a huge card. This is a stacked show. And I want to say the hype is there, but maybe tonight's show could put it right there. But on paper, this is a really, really great show. I would say a can't miss show this Sunday.
This is looking really good. I'm excited for the Balor match. You know, I don't get to see him in, the main card that often. So that is honestly one of the matches and one reasons I've switched over to watching NXT more often, because I've never been the biggest NXT follower. But, with seeing and Keith Lee, seeing those crossovers and having Keith Lee on main card matches and stuff like that, it's brought me over to NXT. So I think they're doing that right by stacking the card with, main roster people and having that little crossover. It's great.
Yeah, and there's a potential for Charlotte to pop up on this show.
Exactly. They already teased it this past week on Raw, and I think it will definitely happen. And then you had Becky getting bitten and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff intermingling between NXT and main roster. I like it.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I mean, there's a lot, and there's a potential for a couple of title changes here.
Yeah,
if they wanted to be crazy, they put this title on Ciampa. Something makes me think that Cole keeps that title at least through WrestleMania time. Rhea Ripley, I think there's no way she's losing that title to Bianca Belair, though I think there is a lot of upside in Bianca keeping the title. Broserweights, I think, have the best chance to win these belts. I think they have the best chance of any of the title matches to get a title change here. O'Reilly and Fish have had those titles for a very, very long time. They were not successful in the title tournament. They've gotten away from the Undisputed Era having all of the titles. Now, why not just keep that domino effect rolling and go with that pattern, chasing into WrestleMania, and maybe the last final title that they have, they lose. What match you bring up Balor and Gargano? What about Balor and Gargano is exciting for you? This is the big grudge match on the show next to Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai.
I've just really liked the fact that, some people were down on the fact that they moved Balor over to NXT, but I think ever since that he went over there, there's been, we've gotten to see him really shine and do programs and just get better matches out of him. So I'm looking forward to seeing just like, I as much as I would love to see Balor back, you're talking about how he went from being the first Universal Champion to being, it's like, oh, it's a downgrade for him to be in NXT. But it's like, I don't think he sees it that way necessarily. And we're seeing it with matches like this. And I think it's going to be a very exciting match to watch. That's one of the main reasons I'm going to tune in. So.
Yeah, it's going to be something special. Other news we've gotten from the WWE Orlando area is the recent signing of Simone Johnson. She had been training there for months, but they made it official. I know today they will put out an interview that'll be a little bit more of an exposure to her as a person herself. Of course, her father is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. A lot of people are talking about this, and it has become quite the story. I would say it's been one of the bigger wrestling stories of the week. A lot of pressure on her, and we'll continue to follow that for you over at WrestleZone.com. I had some people asking me about that. We do know they're just going to put an interview out with her. That's all we know right now. I don't know her level of athletic expertise, but I know she's been pretty advanced in her training. Now, the pressure to be The Rock's daughter has to be insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, think it like if you take up your family business and you run your family's donut shop, everyone's going to be like, do you make these donuts as good as your dad? Now you have to say, are you as good as The Rock? Not just any wrestler, The Rock, and one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Like the pressure there, it was so much that Triple H today on this NXT media call brought it up. He's like, I would not want to be in that position.
No.
How would you deal with that?
If I had a father or mother in the business that I'm in, and they were a huge actor, it would be tough. for me to be, if they were a big stand-up comedian, I would have a rough time like living in that shadow. And you look at other people in the business that they try to figure out a way to transcend that. And I think that they're going to have to try their best to separate her from the legacy of The Rock. But unfortunately, being that this is WWE, I have a feeling they're really going to ride that into the ground. And I hope they don't, for her sake, so that she doesn't get buried by her own dad.
Yeah.
So
you know what I would do? I would do? I would have her wear a mask.
Yeah.
I would have her wear a mask for a period of time and have her not have to deal with that. And a lot of the smart fans who know will know, and then the time will come and be like, no, I'm the Rock's daughter, and here I am.
Yeah. And it says Tawab Ahmed here says it worked out for Charlotte, but that's true. It did. But
Charlotte earned it. Charlotte
earned it, but it's like at the same time, it's like, do we want to do that with every legacy person? Is that they never get to stand on their own? They always got to carry the flag of their parent and or their family member, and it's like they even did that with Angle, and that wasn't even really his kid. So it's like they're always trying to build these weird relationships with father and son, and father. It might be
it's like politics. It's nepotism, man.
But I do see the fact, and that's fine. It's always going to be there. Yeah. But I see them doing. I see them doing this. It'd be interesting, but Flair's a little too old to see maybe a tag team match between but I don't see that happening. But maybe they could be managing in the management roles. That'd be fun. Yeah.
I had someone texting here. I'm trying to find it. They were saying maybe Triple H's daughters take on The Rock's daughters. It's a whole nother generational warfare thing.
Mm-hmm.
So and other people bring it up. Obviously, it's not just The Rock's daughter. No. She's fourth generation. Her grandfather, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, her other grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia. I mean, it's a big legacy. It's not just The Rock. You're part of the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah, you got the Usos and everybody involved in your corner. I think maybe throw her in with the Usos and have her roll with them a little bit.
That would you bring that up? That'd be perfect too.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty to go and do in the WrestleMania season. Overall, what are you more pumped for? You have AEW and NXT tonight. You brought up that you've been watching AEW a little bit less, NXT a little bit more. I know you're a little bit more of a casual guy, and I'll talk wrestling with you. And you'll ask me, hey, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? I want to talk to you as just a pure casual fan.
Yes.
I know to me, you're like, I don't know what's going on with AEW at all. And when AEW came on, you could tell me everything about it. Where is there any reason why you've kind of maybe switched the channel on Wednesday nights a little bit more?
Yeah, it's just that I've switched away because it's hard sometimes to just follow the one pro. I was really looking forward to seeing more stuff done with Omega, to be honest. Like I was really excited with Kenny, and I don't know. I felt like they haven't done as much with him as I would have liked out the gate. And maybe I was super stoked on everything that they were doing up top with Jericho and the Bubble and all that stuff, and that's fun. But I feel like maybe that's kind of worn thin for me personally.
Already?
A little bit. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm not, against Jericho. I think he's really what's been bringing ratings in. But for me, it's a personal, just from being a casual AEW fan, it hasn't I don't know, the programs haven't really drawn me in to the, because I mean, look, their ratings haven't even really cracked 1 million ever. So
true. I mean, they have the edge. They have the edge over
slightly, but they're kind of closing that gap a little bit. I've been noticing.
When you talk to me, I mean, there was a period there after Survivor Series when NXT had a lot of crossover with Raw and SmackDown, and they benefited from it, and the ratings went up. And now there's this debate that was Charlotte brought over to this angle, this challenge from Rhea Ripley, who's the NXT Women's Champion. She went over to Raw and said, hey, I want you to challenge me for my title, not for the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title. I want you to challenge me for the NXT title, which is a different thing because usually the person that wins the Royal Rumble challenges the champion, not the other way around. And now there's been this speculation this week that was this done because AEW has once again gotten the advantage in the ratings. And WWE has no problem being reactionary, but you guys can check it out. We have full coverage of today's NXT media call with Triple H, the chief operating officer of talent in the company and the main brain behind NXT. And they bring up AEW ratings and how AEW has this edge on them in ratings wise. And AEW's been so successful, they signed a new TV deal with TNT. And congratulations to them.
Yeah.
This is a good problem, and I want it to be known that I'm not picking sides here. But he says they're taking the long game. What do you think of NXT doing that? They're still reactionary, and they'll make changes like adding Charlotte here, but saying we're in this for the long haul. We're playing the long game here. If we look at the week to week numbers every single week and cry to the heavens every Wednesday into a Thursday,
I don't think they're doing that. Yeah, I don't think that Trips is about that. He's not as reactionary as Vince is, although no. Vince is going to ultimately be like, probably throwing his 2 cents in there where it's like, okay.
And he should. And he should, because he should care about that brand, even though I think he genuinely does. If you see him pulling people up, like an Angel Garza is now a part of Monday Night Raw, and you see guys like Keith Lee get the reactions he got in the past few months, if you're Vince McMahon, you have to be happy with the crop of talent that you can reach to and pull from that bench, that they've been able to do that in the past years. Seth Rollins, Cesaro. I mean, how many big guys that are huge names, Becky Lynch, came up from NXT in the last 8 years. And some of them are pure NXT names. And you could say they recruited guys like Balor and Nakamura from New Japan and different groups, Styles. Obviously, he never spent time in NXT. But NXT has really produced names for him. So Vince has to be, I think, in the long game, yes. In the short term, it's got to get under your skin if AEW is getting those ratings on you.
It's going to get under their skin, of course, but I just really feel like, they are going to have to just stick it out for the long haul. You have them bringing over those crossover people like, that has what has gotten me into watching NXT is seeing those crossovers and seeing, introducing people like Keith Lee to me by bringing him over into main roster. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go over and watch NXT. So you asked me what has made me watch NXT a little bit more and follow it than AEW. It's probably that, to be honest, is like seeing these matches that I never thought would happen before. And they have to do it. To get the ratings even remotely close. I don't even know if they're looking necessarily in this year. It might take well over a year for them to close that gap, but they're going to have to be in for the long game. They have to.
Well, I think AEW certainly has some compelling stuff here. Cody and MJF was 20 minutes of just very emotional TV last week. They drew that out for 20 minutes. Some other people not fond of it. I've heard some people thought it was too long. Some people thought this, but I watched it. I thought it was really, really compelling television.
I just get more pure wrestling matches watching NXT than you do with the main card, and that's something.
Because AEW is sold so much on this is wrestling, and we're really going to have a variety of different great in-ring action, and they absolutely do. This isn't me taking a crack at them,
no.
But the thing you end up hearing more about from AEW is they did this angle, and remember this brawl they did between the Inner Circle, and they broke through a window, and they did things that are really cool and physical. Or this match, this angle they did with MJF and Cody hitting him with the belt and then doing the lashes and promo.
Well, because they can't just compete with NXT. AEW as a whole is just competing with all of their shows.
Then so they would level out. If it was just straight up, we're gonna have banger matches every single week,
right?
And those are awesome. And those are what we always want. That's the meat of the meal, right? Mm-hmm. If AEW, I think, is taking a curveball approach of we're gonna try and out sports entertainment, whereas NXT is we want this to be straight up bell to bell, straightforward. AC/DC, it's a great rock song. The hooks, the bells. We're going to keep the promo short. We're going to keep everything moving. Because NXT, I think a lot of WWE fans feel it's better than Raw and SmackDown sometimes because it gives them everything they want. Big entrances, big music, big characters, but they go in the ring. Right. Whereas SmackDown, I think, and Raw has more of a pressure to give everything to everybody. NXT can be just what it needs to be for a certain crowd. It's a good dive bar in a good way.
It's what it is. And I think
bar, the drinks you're getting, the jukebox is playing, what band's going to be there on Friday.
Exactly. I already, when I watch SmackDown, it's like I know I'm looking at more of an entertainment show. I'm not looking. You're looking at a television show. Fox wants a television show. They want the drama and they want the storylines. Whereas, NXT, I can tune in and see a 20-minute match go down and see, that kind of storytelling as opposed to just seeing spots and all these talk show segments and things like that. Like I saw the new they brought MVP back doing talk shows now. And it's like, all right, enough with these talk shows. I tune out most of the time.
Okay, so those lose you.
Those lose me. So like, yeah, I guess like pure wrestling matches are kind of bringing me back, and I would hate to see AEW fall to the wayside of following that format from WWE, trying to compete with them.
I don't see them doing it, but I do see them trying to do their own spin.
They have to. They have to for somewhat.
And their fans are very critical. So I would agree as well. Oh, yeah. But overall, it's just a good time to be a wrestling fan. AEW and NXT are just great Wednesday night shows to watch. We used to do a Wednesday night WrestleZone post show. I'm going to keep trying to do some version on Thursdays because I don't want to be in the position where I have to do the 2-screen thing. It's too much. We got too much wrestling. So I want to watch it at a good pace. So pace yourself out on Wednesday night. Choose one show to watch live and stay up late and watch the other one. Why not? 4 hours of wrestling once a week. You're going to watch it all the time anyway.
Hey, we did it back in the Monday Night Wars when we were kids. Maybe. So why not?
You taped one in the other room and then you ran over there. And
I was bouncing back and forth when I was a teenager. So
yeah, there we go. Brian, thank you so much. I know you got some shows coming up and people can follow you on socials. Where do they go?
You can check out me on Instagram. Just look up Brian Christopher. And you can also see me every week, of course, at the Ashbury Improv in good old Willow Springs, our stomping grounds. I'll be there this Thursday.
Hell yeah. We've been doing shows there since 2003.
Yeah, we gotta get you back out there soon too.
I'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
I'm busy on the comedy road. I will be in Valparaiso, Indiana on March 20th and March 21st, heading up the Cut Up Steakhouse and Comedy Club, which is pretty cool. Doing a weekend there. And I am waiting for confirmation on Tampa, Florida. Looks like I will be in Tampa for WrestleMania.
Congrats. I know you were worried you weren't going to get down there for Mania, but looks like it's happening. We're going to get confirmation any day now. I do want to thank everyone for supporting the show. Even when, I have a different co-host. Usually I have Robert with me. Robert's working double duty today on WrestleZone. So he's behind the news desk for them. We will be back. We have some great stuff planned as we get closer to WrestleMania. I want you to ride with me. I know, Brian, I want to have you on again in the future. For sure. I like coming on because I'm more of a casual watcher. So it's good.
And I think for the hardcore fans, I like this, where you know a little bit of what's going on, but you're like, I don't want to watch it. I want to know what a casual person thinks. It's
because sometimes I tune into a storyline, and for 1 week, I'll tune in and be like, ugh, I don't like this. And then I'll be gone for a week.
Watch everything. I watch the stuff that you go, Yeah. And then I also love when I love standing back and looking over my shoulder and saying, like, what is this guy like?
Yeah.
Or I love I got to see my nephew this week and he's 10. He only watches and only follows WWE in one way. YouTube. He only keeps up with it on YouTube.
That's this guy lately, to be honest. I've been watching a lot of the highlight clips on YouTube. I love those highlight clips going in the top 10 lists and, all those different places. And that's what keeps me still in the know when I'm not necessarily following every storyline every week,
Yeah. And the thing he'll tell me is like, well, if I watch something and I really like it, I'll go and watch the whole thing on Hulu. Exactly. I'll go find the match I want. And he's 10 and he knows how to do this. And I was like, well, you already know what the result is. Do you I still want to see the match.
Of course.
I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, or I'll watch it on the network. So he's like, I'll just watch. He'll turn on. He said he's going to watch NXT Takeover Portland, but he doesn't watch NXT. He only watches SmackDown and full on Fridays. That's it. He said, and I'll watch the highlights. And he'll ask me what's going on with this guy.
That'll be me with NXT. With Portland, I'll probably end up watching most of the highlights. I might try to check the whole Balor match out, but everything else, maybe the Keith Lee match, I'll watch the whole one. But everything else will just be like highlights. That's it.
I agree. Thank you guys so much for supporting the efforts we have over at WrestleZone.com. A great interview we just posted today with Ryan Barkin of Pro Wrestling Tees, part of our Best of the Business series, talking about the best people in the business of pro wrestling. We also have exclusives with Jim Ross, Sean Spears, Diamond Dallas Page. Thank you for his support. He actually tweeted about the interview with Dominic D'Angelo. Those are all up now, and you can also listen to them in the WrestleZone Radio podcast feed. Go subscribe on your podcast app of choice. weeks, whether it's TuneIn, it's iHeartRadio. We just got up on there. If you're listening to us anywhere, go check it out. You enjoy this show a couple days a week as well. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. We'll return tomorrow. Please remember to do the important thing like Brian's doing. You get so stressed out about whether you're this guy, they didn't do this particular match, and I don't like when John Cena does a spinning back fist move. Why can't he do the AA? And why isn't Hulk Hogan back? And you should have him beat a giant. All those things. Calm down and just remember to enjoy wrestling.